It is late at night. The room is quiet. Your phone is still in your hand. You told yourself you would go to sleep earlier today. For a moment you meant it. Yet you are still scrolling. One more video. One more post. One more small distraction. Somewhere in the background, a quiet thought appears. Why does it feel like life is not moving forward? Nothing looks obviously wrong. You are not making catastrophic decisions. Your days look ordinary. Work, school, messages, a little entertainment, a little rest. And yet something feels off. Life is rarely ruined by dramatic events. It is shaped quietly by small habits repeated every day. Most of them look harmless. They feel like normal life. But small patterns in daily routines can slowly drain focus, energy, and self-respect without being noticed. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes years pass. Progress feels stuck. Not because you are lazy, not because you are broken. You are simply running a system that works against you. A few ordinary habits create that system. The first one begins late at night. Your body is tired, your brain is tired, yet your mind still looks for stimulation. The phone appears in your hand almost automatically, just for a moment. But endless scrolling rarely ends quickly. New images, new information, constant novelty. Time disappears. The problem is not only the lost sleep. The real damage appears the next morning. Chaotic nights create chaotic mornings. You wake up tired. Your mind already feels overloaded. The day begins in reaction instead of intention. Many people feel behind before the day even starts. That feeling is not laziness. It is mental fatigue. Without a quiet transition between day and night, the mind never fully resets. Fatigue accumulates. The next habit begins immediately after waking. Most mornings start with the same reflex. The alarm stops. The phone appears. Notifications. Messages. Feeds. Headlines. Before the mind becomes clear, it is already filled with other people's priorities. The direction of the day changes in that moment. Consumption replaces intention. Attention starts jumping from stimulus to stimulus. Activity increases, but meaningful progress disappears. A chaotic morning creates mental clutter that follows the entire day. Another common habit looks productive, but quietly weakens focus. Constant multitasking. Answering messages while working. Switching between tabs. Checking notifications during tasks. Doing many things at once. It feels efficient. In reality, attention becomes fragmented. Every switch forces the mind to reset. Focus becomes shallow. Deep concentration becomes rare. Shallow attention slowly destroys progress. Important work requires something simple but uncomfortable. Stillness. A quiet mind capable of staying with one task long enough to produce real results. Many people do not struggle with effort. They struggle with the absence of mental quiet. The shift is simple. Progress does not come from doing more things. Progress comes from protecting attention. Even small periods of uninterrupted focus can change results dramatically. Another quiet habit keeps people stuck for years, waiting to feel motivated. Motivation feels powerful when it appears. It also disappears quickly. Building your life around motivation creates instability. Meaningful progress usually happens when action begins before motivation appears. Movement often generates motivation after the first step. Waiting for the perfect emotional moment delays action indefinitely. Days disappear while waiting to feel ready. Another trap appears when people finally decide to change. They try to change everything at once. New routines, perfect systems, complete life resets. The enthusiasm is real. The sustainability is not. Large systems create pressure. Pressure creates resistance. The system collapses. The collapse creates self-doubt. The problem is rarely the person. The problem is the scale of the change. Real progress usually begins quietly. A small boundary, a small routine adjustment, one manageable habit. Consistency always outperforms intensity. One final pattern often hides in plain sight. Autopilot. Days begin to repeat. Wake up. Check the phone. Work. Eat. Scroll. Sleep. Repeat. Time moves forward, but awareness disappears. Without awareness, questions stop appearing. Is this how time should be used? Is this direction intentional? Is this version of life acceptable? Autopilot removes reflection. Reflection restores control. Control restores clarity. Clarity creates peace. Large transformations rarely begin with dramatic changes. They begin with simple awareness. Pause during the day. Notice your actions. Notice your habits. Notice when the mind slips into automatic behavior. The moment patterns become visible, they become adjustable. Small adjustments repeated daily slowly reshape the direction of life. A calmer evening routine. A deliberate morning. Protected time for focused work. Action taken even without motivation. Over time, chaos begins to fade. Life starts to feel stable. Not perfect. Not extraordinary. Simply controlled. That difference is enormous. Which pattern feels most familiar right now? Late night scrolling, chaotic mornings, constant multitasking. Waiting for motivation, or living on autopilot. Recognition is the first real step toward change. The moment a pattern is clearly seen, it begins losing power. Life rarely transforms in a single dramatic moment. It shifts quietly. Through small choices. Through repeated habits. Through moments of awareness that interrupt autopilot. And those quiet changes eventually create a very different future. Start with one small adjustment today. Your future self will notice the difference.